Welcome to the Self-Care 101 podcast with your host, straight-talking life coach, Puja McClymont. This show provides simple self-development, supporting you to embody your self-worth so that you can live the happier, more fulfilled life that you deserve without burning out. Thank you so much for listening today. Hello, it's season 2, episode 22. Today's show is a brilliant one. Now, we've all had some sort of battle with our weight, and there are so many ways to apparently lose and manage our health goals. But what's the secret to fat loss? It is the unsexy, highly revered in the medical industry, 5,000-year-old formula. Wait for it. Eat less than you put out. Literally, eat less than you exert. Now, in this episode, I talk with straight-talking health coach Sharan from Nutrition and You, who helps women ditch the dietist mindset and focus on embracing their mind, body, and soul. This is all achieved in as little as 90 days with one-on-one coaching. Sharon's going to dispel the dietist mindset, and she provides some awesome tips to navigate the last few months of the year so that you can start achieving your weight goals, especially if you feel like it's your last chance. There are always small steps you can take. So why not? If you love the Self-Care 101 podcast, please can you head over to Apple Podcasts, subscribe, and leave me a review. This really helps others find the show, and I am eternally grateful for your support. Want more great content? I'm embarking on expanding the podcast with your help. If any episode has resonated with you and you'd like to support the show, I've put together 3 memberships starting from just £10 that will help me elevate your experience. Just head to the support link in the description of the episode for more info and you can buy me a coffee. Now, on to the show. Hey Sharon, thank you so much for doing the show with me today.
Thank you for having me.
I think it might be best for you to introduce yourself, who you are, what you do, and why.
So my name is Sharon, and I am a nutrition consultant. My aim is to help women ditch the dietist mindset so they become comfortable with their body and they no longer see food as being good or bad. It's just food.
I like that. I like that. How did you get into being the health coach that you are?
So as a child, I was overweight, and it took me breaking a chair to realize that I need to lose the weight. At that point, I did a lot of fad diets. I was going from one diet to another. Nothing was sustainable because the weight would come back on. And I then decided to join a gym. I joined the gym, but again, the weight wasn't coming off because my eating habits hadn't changed. So what I did was I invested in a health coach or a personal trainer who taught me about the importance of eating right and exercising.
Wow.
From there, I carried it on. So it's been about 26 years now that I've maintained my weight loss. My dad, unfortunately, suffered with the liver disease. Again, a lot of people think it's alcohol related, but this one wasn't. It was food related.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Fatty liver, and the fatty liver over time went into liver cirrhosis. He needed a transplant. He didn't get his transplant. He passed away.
Oh, wow.
Now, our liver is one organ that can rejuvenate itself if you give it the right foods. But because Dad wasn't educated and I didn't know too much about nutrition at that point, we lost him. So now moving forward, apart from helping you ditch the dietist mindset, I'm also on this mission to help you to learn and love your liver. And I've been working closely with the British Liver Trust too. So in a nutshell, here I am.
That's incredible. And I think what you say is right. And I'm just going to write it down so I don't forget, but ditch the dieters mindset. I mean, like that kind of in itself has just hit the nail on the head for so much of my life personally. Like, you know, I've been in and out of diets my whole life too. And it's just been, it's such a horrible way of thinking. Now, obviously, since becoming a coach, I know that how and why diets don't work and what you need to do with your mindset and stuff like that. So I've not done any diets since I've become a coach because I'm just like, no, doesn't work. You know, I did Lighter Life many years ago and lost loads of weight, became a size 10 and really healthy. It was wonderful, actually. Yeah. And because I discovered running and stuff like that, which I would never have done, you know, overweight. But every time I've tried to redo that diet, I keep like failing at it. I can't keep it up because my brain doesn't now compute with the fact that diets don't work. So it just doesn't, it completely goes against my values. So yeah, I'm going to enjoy this chat a lot. So I was thinking now with this show, there are so many like weight loss and, everyone's got something to say about it. But I really like the way, obviously, us coaches work because it's very much about accountability. It's very much about support that you don't really get elsewhere. And it's sometimes I say this to my clients anyway, it's like, there's that dark and secret side to all of us that we don't necessarily talk about out loud to our friends and family. And what a coach does is allow you to have that safe space to be vulnerable, to say what's really on your mind and what kind of behaviors you exhibit, like derailing and eating a whole packet of Jaffa cakes or whatever. Do you know?
Things that you won't openly discuss with your family, but you can openly discuss with your coach, because working with a coach is zero judgment.
Exactly. But I want to know, so I have a client, for instance, and she's just signed up to Slimming World. Now, because I'm not a health coach, I wouldn't therefore advise her against it. If it's for me, it's if it works for you, then do what works for you. And obviously, like things like Weight Watchers and Slimming World are a lot cheaper, and you can buy the food in Iceland or whatever. What difference is it, like where's the difference between investing in a coach like yourself compared to doing something that's been well established like Slimming World or Weight Watchers? What do you think are the key benefits or differences?
I would say the issue I have with these companies is that they're not giving you the main principle to weight loss. The principle to weight loss is being in a calorie deficit. There are many methods to be in a calorie deficit, so Slimming World and Weight Watchers is one of them. They either teach you how to count food as points, or you're referring to food as sin. Food is not a sin. And the difference with working with a health coach is that you then start to understand that, hey, if I eat this, that's where I'm going to get my protein from. That's where I'm going to get my fiber from. If I eat this, it's going to fill me up with some nutrients, which my body needs. Weight Watchers and Slimming World aren't going to refer to that. Instead, they're going to say, hey, don't buy rich tea biscuits. Buy our biscuits. It's only a point. Or buy this, it's only a couple of sins. Why do you need to buy their products? Why can you not just go into the supermarket and buy food?
Oh, I love this. I'm already getting excited inside because yes, everything is a conspiracy in my head. But no, it's true. Like food industry, it's a business. They're trying to make money, and they're not going to make money out of your £10 subscription, but they'll make money out of you buying their products because the markup on food is massive and people don't understand this. So I'm 100% with you. And to be honest with you, I've tasted those products and they're not nice. They're shit. Like they don't, if I want a rich tea, I mean, rich tea is not my bag, but say I want a digestive. I want the McVitie's digestive over the Tesco digestive because it does taste different. I want that taste, right? But those Weight Watchers foods, I mean, look, if Weight Watchers, to any listener who is using Weight Watchers or Slimming World, if it works for you, it works for you. I personally, I mean, okay, I use Ayurvedic and yogic principles in my coaching practice, right? And I do a lot of that in terms of a whole life transformation. So although we're working on your mindset, we do work on all the other elements because everything is everything, right? And everything affects everything. And Ayurvedically, it is about enjoying food. It is about appreciating food. I talk to my son all the time about, the reason why we sit on the dining table is because that dal that you're eating, somebody, a farmer somewhere far away, had to plant the seed to grow the lentil, then wait, look after it, harvest it, stick it in some barrel or bag that got shipped over here and then washed and packaged and brought, and And he looks at my face like, but we just got it from Sainsbury's. I'm like, but it has a journey. And then when he appreciates that, then he tells that story. And then that obviously has a knock-on effect. But then, when he's eating, he's appreciative of what's going in and he's understanding that it's nourishing and the difference between a chocolate bar and dal and rice or whatever it is, right? It's incredible. But I really agree with you on that, especially from a mindset perspective about how calling something a sin or a point, it takes away your connection to food as nourishment, which essentially that's what it is, right?
Yeah, and no disrespect to the ladies who work for these companies. I mean, when you're going to say a Slimming World session, the ladies there have been trained by Slimming World. They're not nutritionists. They're not health coaches. They don't understand the macronutrients and the split, for example. So what they do is they weigh you in the evening, look at you and say, oh, sorry, you've gained 2 pounds, not realizing that that person may have had a heavy carb meal before, for example. Carb tends to hold, for every gram of carbohydrate, you're holding 3 grams of water. So they don't understand that she may have had a carb heavy meal, or she might be on her monthlies. That's also going to impact what you see on the scales. And I think this is the reason why working with a health professional is going to be the best investment that you make, because it's going to educate you along the way too. You won't come out of this saying that's a sin or that's a point. You're going to know exactly how to nourish your body.
Yeah, because I also think about, it's what you're providing somebody with the tools to be able to be in control of their life. The point is to not come to you or come to us and then you have to rely on us for the rest of your life. The point of our work is to empower you to do it for yourself and for the rest of your life. So that way you're not yo-yo dieting, you're not gaining weight, losing weight. And even if you are, because life happens, these things happen, you know how to get yourself back on track because you understand your body, you understand how food works in your body because it's individual as well. And you don't get that tailored approach, right, on these kind of programs. Because I always think it's fine, you sign up to a Slimming World or a Weight Watchers, but what if they go bust? Then they are a business at the end of the day. How do you then know how to manage your lifestyle after? Again, let's not harbor on them because I feel bad for those people who are using them. But obviously, if it works for you, it works for you. Yeah. The point of this sort of conversation was very much about the difference between working with a coach one-on-one compared to signing up to one of these programs. We're looking at the long term, whereas those programs are certainly looking at the short term. And like you say, it's that ditching the dieter's mindset, right?
Yeah.
All right, cool. So it's the last few months of the year. Can you believe it? Like 2021 is almost over.
It's got to October so quickly.
So quickly.
Considering we spent most of this year as well at home.
Yeah.
It's gone so quick.
Yeah, obviously it's been a very different year to last year, where last year it was all very shock. Yeah. This year it's been, okay, how do I get on with my life now in this new trajectory? Apart from not being able to travel as much as I would have liked and stuff, that I've really enjoyed it. I've enjoyed spending time with myself and family, and I bought a new place, so I was enjoying that too. But with the last few months approaching, I think you do kind of get into that, all the colder months, getting the cardigans out, boots out, darker nights or darker days, shorter days, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's all about being cozy and comfort food and things like that. And I know a lot of people who kind of come to this point and it's like, oh, well, if I haven't done it now, I'm not going to do it. But it's like, you've still got 3 months. Yeah. That's still 12 weeks, even with a Christmas and a Diwali and a Halloween and anything else you want to throw into the mix as an excuse, inverted commas. So what do you think? How could you, even like you could give the tips to me if you want, but how can somebody finish strong this year, use the last 3 months to actually make a difference to their health weight journey?
You can thrive in 90 days. These festivals are only one day. That's it. Right. So the mindset needs to be, what's your why? Why do you want to do it? Why do you want to get healthier? Is it because you want to be a certain size? There's nothing wrong with saying that. If that's what's going to get you to your goal, so be it. Or is it because you're trying to reverse, say, type 2 diabetes? Is it because you're trying to reverse liver disease? You need to really be very clear on what it is that you're trying to achieve. If you need to put it on a post-it, do it. But that's going to keep you moving forward towards the goal. You can't use these festivals as the excuses itself. You can't just write off 3 months. 90 days is a long time. And what you do from now until end of this year, you'll either go into 2022 feeling strong and healthy, or you're going to go into 2022 looking for another diet.
Well, yeah, no, totally. Yeah. But I think with, when you do sort of hit October and you're thinking in terms of Halloween and then November, it's very much, and I know it for myself, this becomes quite a busy social time for me because it is the end of the year and you're like, oh shit, I haven't seen that friend and I haven't done this, I haven't done that. So you book in a lot of dates with people. So you're going out a lot for like meals, right? And things like that. So even putting the festivities aside, this tends to be a really social time. How can you manage your weight goals if you're going out every weekend?
There's two ways you can do this. One way is plan ahead. Planning ahead is key. So if you know you're going out on a Saturday night, say you know you're going to go to a lovely Italian restaurant, you know then that maybe you can have a lighter breakfast. You probably don't need to eat lunch. Let's face it, a lot of us have got a lot of body fat in us to last us quite a few months. So if you don't have lunch, it's fine. Nothing's going to happen to you. You can then spend those calories at dinner time. Or if you didn't want to do that and you just wanted to go with the flow, when you get to the restaurant, if you see something that's cream-based, you know that's going to be higher in fat. Fat as a micronutrient has 9 calories per gram, as opposed to protein and carbohydrates, which give us 4 calories per gram. So opt for something protein-based. Have a chicken dish, which is grilled or steamed. Go for the sea bass. Sea bass is normally on there. You know, but if you really, really want a pasta carbonara and you want that lovely taste, then honor it and have it. Because if you don't have it, you're going to get food envy.
Yeah. And then that will derail you, right? You'll start going into a self-sabotage if you start denying yourself, because I think that's where those sorts of that diet mentality doesn't work, because it's about deprivation. And the way the mind processes deprivation is a negative, and a negative emotion has a negative action to it. Absolutely. So, you know, like you just go into child ego states. So like when you're kids and you're told, oh no, you can't have that. Now I'm an adult. You can't tell me I can't have that. I can have it. Yeah. And I know, I'm sure you do this with your clients too, but I would do it with my clients too. If they're whinging about something, because I'm going to say it, sometimes we do whinge and it's like, oh, I can't do it. It's just so hard. It's so difficult. And it's like, do you want to do this? Do you want to lose weight? That's all. Just keep it simple. Do you want, just keep coming back to it? Do you want to do it? Because if your why, the reason why you're doing this weight loss is strong enough, then you will do what it takes to maintain that and actually achieve that goal. But if it's not strong enough, you're going to have to come back and revisit it, because you should naturally go into, okay, I've got a Friday night drinks, or I've got 2 dinners, Friday and Saturday night this week. What can I do in the week to offset? Because I like that menu and I like the steak on that menu, and I do want the cream spinach and the dauphinoise potatoes or whatever, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. But we talk about balance, don't we? It's having that balance, isn't it? Is that something that you do actively with your clients? Is that how you teach them?
Yeah, absolutely. And you need to remember, it's just one meal. The only way you're going to gain body fat is if you go into a calorie surplus, and you're in that surplus over a consistent amount of time. So surplus meaning that you're taking on more calories than what your body's expending.
Right.
Yeah. So if you're having less calories than what your body needs, you lose the weight. If you're having more consistently every single day for the next 2 to 3 weeks, yes, you will gain weight. But if you've just had that one meal and the next day you're back on track and you're back into your maintenance phase or your deficit phase, it's not going to cause you any harm.
I love how simple it is. And I think that's what attracted me to you the most. It's your simplicity, that it's just a calorie deficit. And so long as you're in that for the majority, you won't gain weight, unless there's obviously an underlying health issue. You won't gain weight because it's black and white. We have a massive health and fitness industry that tells you to do this and to do that. And the science, all the science still says, eat less than you put out. Like that's it.
It's as simple as that. But I put out a post this morning saying it's not sexy, is it? So when you know something and you've got the information, it's very clear and cut, you're not going to be intrigued by it. It's too boring.
Yeah.
If you market it as the keto diet, intermittent fasting, automatically your senses are like, wow, what is that? What is that? I need to try this. This is the best thing. But ultimately your body's gone into a deficit, which is why you're losing weight.
Yeah. And intermittent fasting always makes me laugh. Like, I think since becoming a coach, people feel that natural urge, like friends and family who want to like share with me all the good things that they're doing. You know, with respect, I don't care. Like, live your life. You're not my client. You know, there are no stakes involved here. I'm like, live your life. I have no judgment. And so they'll come and they'll be like, oh, I've just discovered intermittent fasting. And I'm like, you've just discovered it. You do realize that it's a 5,000-year-old science from Ayurveda, but okay, you've just discovered it. You carry on with that, you know. And when they say, oh, I haven't eaten for 12 hours, I'm like, well, you should have been asleep for most of those.
Yeah.
Anyway. It's just the thing, not to take the piss, but what I think the point that we're bringing home is we get excited by shiny new object syndrome. Oh, that sounds cool. That sounds different. So it's going to work. But we forget that for anything to work in our lives, be it weight, be it money, be it work, it's what we're doing that actually affects it. Right?
Absolutely.
I think if I genuinely worked 8 to 10 hours a day, my business would be in a completely different space. But I can't, and I kind of won't, because I want to spend that time with my son. And so I kind of work part-time, if you like, and therefore I get part-time wages. Do you know what I mean? So I can't whinge about that unless I choose to put in that extra work to enable me to take my business further, right? And it's with everything.
With everything, exactly.
So let's talk about, I'm just changing up the talking points a bit, but what are the common problems that you see clients face? Like, what are the common problems that clients come to you for when it comes to weight loss? Because we're talking about it being simple, eat less than you, right? So why can't we just do it for ourselves? What's stopping us from doing it?
The most common problem is ladies don't know what to eat. I know it sounds a bit too simple, but they don't know what to eat. So they'll come to me saying, Sharan, I hardly eat anything. I'm like, okay, there you go. So when you say hardly anything, what do you eat? So they don't have their breakfast because they're running around after the children. They'll snack about 11 o'clock, probably a biscuit. They then, again, get busy with the housework. They then do the school run. They come back, make the children their dinner. They then start picking, putting the kids to bed. That's when they have their dinner. And that is when they will start to eat. But then they don't understand how much volume they're taking in. So they come to me because they do not understand how they should start nourishing their body. They don't understand what foods are going to keep them fuller for longer. A lot of them have this mindset of, okay, if I do this, that means I can't eat this or I can't eat that. I'm like, whoa, I've not said to you, you cannot eat this. I'm encouraging you to eat. In fact, I'm encouraging you to eat more than what you're eating. But I want you to have loads of food that's not going to cost you too much in terms of calories. So there are an abundance amount of foods that you can eat. So I'll start telling them what fruits and vegetables they can start having, what they can start snacking on, how much, in terms of nuts they should be having. If they're out and about, have a bag of nuts in your handbag, something simple that you can snack on where you're not going to be tempted when you walk past Greg's, for example, because that smell, when your sensory go off. So totally. So these are basically the main point of people not actually understanding what they can eat, because they think when you're on a diet, these are the foods you can eat and these are the foods you can't eat. So already you've got a good food and bad food camp. Problem.
Yeah, they've I mean, food industry, diet industry has totally like marketed food in that good or bad way. It's when people say to me, if I'm with Micah somewhere, and they'll be like, oh, you can have it as a treat for later. And I'm like, oh, we don't have treats in my house. Like, if you want it, you can have it, or he can have it once he's had his lunch, because I want nutrition first, pleasure second, nutrition first, pleasures. And that's literally the rule. It's nothing, that's it. It's not anything, because I want him to set himself up to go in his brain when he's an adult, nutrition first, pleasure second, so that he is, because food is fuel. We forget that without food, we can't live. Like, I think water, if we don't drink water or we can live on water for 7 days or something, we will die. Like, fat stores can do only so much. You still need the nutrition. But I find, and something that you said about the whole, I don't eat much, I don't eat much, why aren't I losing the weight? There's also, because I had it for a long time, a fear of food. I used to be scared of food. Like, if I'd eat a salad and then I'd weigh myself the next day, I'd gained weight. So then I thought, well, what can I eat? Because I don't understand. I'm eating what I'm supposed to be eating, or what they say I'm supposed to be eating. So how has this salad made me gain weight? There's that fear then that starts creeping in. If I put anything in my mouth, it's going to make me gain weight. And especially when you get to a certain weight that you are, not happy with, it gets quite scary. How do you handle that with clients?
What I say to them is the current weight that they're looking at is a byproduct of what they've done the previous 4 or 5 weeks, all adding up now. And they need to look at other progress markers. You can't always go by the scales. Scales is data. It's going to show you your skeletal, it'll show you your muscle mass, it will show you organs in your body, whether or not you've emptied your bowels, how much water you've got. That's all the data that's shown on the scales. Go by things such as, can you run for a bus without getting out of breath? Can you play with the children without getting out of breath? Needing to sit down? Can you go for a walk? Can you go up the stairs without getting out of breath? And if you can start doing those things, these are then your progress markers. And that's what you should be aiming for, not worrying too much about the scales, because you could, say if you started lifting weights, your body weight may be the same, but your body composition will look different.
Yeah, I've heard that. And they say, isn't it that muscle weighs more than fat? Is that fact? Oh,
no,
it doesn't.
No. Muscle and fat. So if you've got a pound of fat and you've got a pound of muscle, they both weigh the same. You could have two women being 65 kilo for argument's sake. If one woman's got more fat in her, she will look bigger than the other lady who's got more muscle. She'll be maybe leaner.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, muscle takes up less space in the body. That's why you look leaner. Fat takes up more space in the body, which is why you will look bigger.
It's amazing how that is not fact. That's a common misconception, isn't it, about how muscle weighs more than fat. And it was said on the grapevine at some point, and probably before social media, and that's sort of gone on, and people have believed it. And then when they start exercising, a fat person, an overweight person, the moment they start exercising and they see weights, they're like, oh no, I don't want to get bulky. It's like, babe, you're already bulky. We're talking about getting you lean,
Yeah.
Right? That doing strength training is going to tone up the body, actually get rid of the bat wings and everything else that you feel.
Especially for women as we age, we need muscle. You don't want to be suffering from brittle bones, osteoporosis. When you go through the menopause, you've got to be strong. So it's really important that we start, when you work out, it's not just all cardio based. You need to also focus on building strength, having the muscle.
It's so dangerous, this whole dieting industry, the way we should have been educated. I mean, we're older, aren't we? We're sort of in the 40 range, right? And so we know that we didn't get that education, and we're a product of consumerism from the 80s and microwaves and instant meals and the working mum. So we understand where it all comes from, and we have this great opportunity now to undo those bad experiences so that we can educate ourselves to know better for ourselves, so we can live longer, which generally we are living longer. So it's definitely filtering through. And then obviously to educate our kids on how to eat better, and friends and family, everyone around us. So there's a good opportunity here, I guess. So tell me one of the, give me a success story of one of your clients. So
sure. So one of my clients, she joined me, I think beginning of March this year. When we had our consultation, she was like, Sharon, your work's going to be cut out because I love chocolate. I can't give chocolate up. I don't know why I'm not losing weight. With the pandemic and everything, yes, I did do a lot of baking, but she's like, I'm hitting a size 18. I can't do this anymore, but I'm not giving up chocolate. I was like, I haven't told you to give up chocolate. If you're ready to do it, let's do it. We did it. And each week I gave her a habit to stick to. Very simple habit. Nothing that's going to be difficult. For example, I'd say, do you know what? Just rate your hunger before you eat. And she was like, what do you mean? I was like, well, if you have 0 and a 5, chances are you're not hungry. If you sit down to watch TV and you get yourself a cuppa and you're reaching for that biscuit, ask yourself, I'm actually hungry. If you're not hungry, don't eat. Simple as that. Find yourself something to do. Maybe you can do some knitting, maybe go for a walk. Do something other that doesn't involve food. If you're rating it between a 5 and a 7, perhaps you're thirsty. Sometimes you confuse hunger with thirst. Have a drink, see how you feel. If you're still hungry afterwards, go for it. And if it's a 7 and above, you're hungry, right? You've got hunger pangs, you're hungry, you get that sensation that I need to eat something now.
Yeah.
Eat. But when I say eat, I don't mean have a cracker with a blooming cucumber on top. Have something substantial. Have a jack potato. Have a sandwich, something that's going to be fuller for longer, and give your body the nourishment it needs to carry on doing the day-to-day tasks that you need to do. Over time, she then started implementing these habits. She started making little changes to her food process, and she lost over 2 stones and over 56 centimeters without giving up chocolate. And she had chocolate every day.
Wow.
Yeah. And her goal was also to walk. Where she lives is very hilly. So her goal was to be able to walk up that hill without getting out of breath. By the time she finished working with me and the personal trainer, which I brought on board, she's now able to walk up that hill. She's not out of breath. She's fitter. She's stronger. She's happier. She's just ditched the diets.
Oh,
She is now. She has ditched those diets, and I'm so proud of what she's achieved.
that's incredible. What a game changer. That is amazing. I like that. Asking yourself, am I actually hungry?
Yeah.
Just eating. Because I think we all eat out of boredom quite a lot, don't we? And especially in the last couple of years, it's made us more inclined to just eat for the sake of eating. And even today, like today, the day that we're recording this, it's a really beautiful sunny day outside. I've got lots of like admin work to do, but all I'm itching to do right now is to put a podcast on, not mine, and go outside and walk and just be outside, because there isn't rain and there's been rain for quite a few days. And I just really, really want to be outside. And I know I can get my 10,000 step count done, within an hour or so of walking and enjoying time with myself and everything else. But I do find that boredom tends to be the thing, because I get bored with all due respect to my child, I get bored in between the hours of picking him up from school and getting him to bed. That's where boredom can kick in for me, because I can't really do my work because he won't let me concentrate. His needs need to be taken care of: feeding, bathing, homework, etc. And I think boredom tends to be that annoying factor. So how do you help people who are just eating out of boredom?
I get them to write down why they're eating.
But they're bored. It's just something to do.
Yeah, something to do. But why are they reaching for that food? And after they've had it, how do they feel? Do they feel like crap after they've eaten it? Are they feeling good after they've eaten it? Or are they now feeling like, I shouldn't have had that? And if they feel like they shouldn't have had that, why should they not have had that? Again, you go back to your why. Why are you doing this? Why do you want to get to where you want to be? Because if you're going to eat out of boredom, chances are you're not going to reach your goals.
Yeah, that's true. I like it. You're just very simple, straight up. Yeah, it is what it is, right? It is what it is. You want to do something about it. Why are you doing it? And that's that. How's it going to make you feel? Brilliant. Bringing that self-awareness into play. That's wicked. Sharon, this has been brilliant. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
I've taken a couple of tips for myself. What would you, just before you go then, with all, the whole 3 months left of the year, what one thing could somebody listening today who's feeling a bit, down in the dumps about the weight gain and stuff like that, doesn't know where to start, is overwhelmed by it all. What one thing could they do this weekend that could contribute to them feeling better about their weight or their journey or anything?
I would say get your NEAT up. So your NEAT is a non-exercise activity thermogenesis. When you look at your total daily energy expenditure, so how much energy your body spends throughout the day, it's different compartments. So you've got your base metabolic rate, which basically means how much you're burning in order for your organs to keep you alive. Then you've got your NEAT, which is how much you're moving around during the day. Your TEF, which is how your body digests food, so your thermic effect of food. Then you've got your EAT, which is your exercise, your planned exercise, like a HIIT workout, for example. So rather than focusing on doing a HIIT workout and then being sedentary for most of the day, get your NEAT up. So by that, I mean, go for a walk, do the gardening, do the housework, something that's going to keep you on your feet rather than sitting down. The goal is to be as active as possible, not jumping around, doing crazy exercises, but actually, going for that walk, running around with kids, doing the housework.
Yeah, I think there's a lot in that, because I think when you're approaching that, right, I'm going to sort myself out now, I'm going to lose the weight, and that requires me to eat less, move more. Oh, the moving. Oh, but I've got really big boobs, and my flabby belly's going to be moving up and down. I don't want to go to a gym. It's embarrassing. I don't want to put a swimming costume on. We start making all these excuses, but actually we can get our movement up just by doing household things. Because I can tell you a mini success story. I moved into my house on the 6th of August, and between the 6th of August and the end of the month, I lost half a stone. And I didn't do anything mindfully. It was all just, I was eating when I was hungry. I realized when I reflected that I wasn't snacking, and I didn't even understand, I'm not snacking. Very strange, because before, in the previous house, I would snack a lot. It was like a filler for time and boredom and everything. And then as I was reflecting further, I realized that for that month, I was packing, unpacking, moving furniture, doing this, washing dishes, keeping my home nice, because it's my home, I bought it. So it's about keeping it clean and tidy, tidying up my son's room, bath, all of that. I was being more physically active. And I realized that I was looking at my Fitbit stats, because I wear my Fitbit every day. And where before I would maybe 2,000 steps in the day, like at home, working from home, right?
Yeah.
Including a school run, I was just, 2,000 steps. Since we moved, I'm like 6,500, 7,000 just from being indoors, not even doing like what do you call it, specific exercise or doing anything massively curbing on the diet. It was literally just in the food, literally just constantly moving more than I was before. And I was like, now this I can get behind, because it was effortless.
Yeah. So
yeah, it's crazy.
It's so simple, but so underrated.
Yeah, I love that. I'm all about simplistic. Yeah. The more simple way of living life, because I think businesses and industry overcomplicate it and basically make us stay miserable and not the way we actually want to live. So I'm 100% behind your message. Thank you so much for doing this, Sharan.
Thanks again. I really enjoyed this.
Let's take the Self-Care 101 podcast to the next level. Head over to the support link to buy me a coffee in the episode description to either literally buy me a coffee with a supporter donation or sign up to one of 3 incredible memberships from just £10, and I can start creating some more incredible content to help you live your best life. Thank you for listening to the Self-Care 101 podcast. If you enjoyed the show, please subscribe, rate and review over on Apple Podcasts so that other people like you can find the show. For more information about the work I do, head over to my website, PujaMcClymont.com, and for daily inspiration, please follow me on Instagram at Puja McClymont. Sending love and talk to you soon.